My name is Rachel Rutsky, and I'm an organic geochemist. I'm interested in the chemistry of nature, and in particular, farming. I'm usually working here in the lab, where I get to play with my samples that I've collected from these salt marshes. This research is awesome because salt marshes can take in and store lots of carbon dioxide, which means they play an important role in minimizing the impacts of climate change.
Hi everyone, my name is Rob. I work here at the Agency Interaction Laboratory and I use the wave tank located behind me. Let's go take a closer look. Okay, so here we are, we're close to the tank now, and sea spray, if you don't know it, are droplets that actually breaking waves and they go into the atmosphere where they can exchange heat and momentum and moisture as they evaporate. So the way I use this tank is I use a combination of lasers and cameras to image these droplets as they leave the breaking wave. Using these images, I can better understand the physics, which is important for understanding different topics such as climate change, weather patterns, and even hurricane intensification.
Hi there, my name is Justin and I'm a biogeochemist. That means I study organisms, the environment, and the chemistry that links the two together. In particular, I'm interested in the microscopic organisms that live in estuaries like this one here behind me. In order to study them, I use tools like this Niskin bottle, which is used to sample the water at particular depths throughout the water column. After I'm done with that fieldwork side of things, I go back into the lab and I filter the water to concentrate the organisms that live in it. After that, I do all sorts of chemical analyses to find out things about their life history, their chemical makeup, and their role in the environment.
This is our 3D printer. This is where we can learn how different polymers will polymerize in a 3D printing environment instead of in a normal environment. And it'll assemble things from the bottom up. We first put our polymers in here, and then they're going to 3D print up this curve. These are some of the things we can make by 3D printing. We can make cubes that are really, really hard to assemble otherwise. We can make Vegas with really tiny detail. And we can make chain link and chain mail, and these structures that they're printed like this, but to make them by hand would have taken a lot of effort.
Hey everybody, my name is Hayden and I study microplastics and their impacts on marine organisms. I go sampling on research vessels like this one and use large nets like this to collect samples of microplastics and animals. These samples get brought back to my lab, where I wear stylish jumpsuits like this one to avoid contaminating my samples. I analyze these samples to see if there are microplastics in ocean water or in marine animals such as this blue crab.
Hi, my name is Emmy Healy and I'm a marine microbiologist. I use molecular techniques to understand the inner workings of algae. I use a process called RT-qPCR. At the end of processing, my samples often look like clear goo. Lucky for me, scientists invented a way to see the DNA that's inside of these samples. That uses a machine here that uses light to quantify the DNA that has been specifically targeted for amplification. This process has become hugely important this last year as it's used to detect coronavirus. This technology is super powerful for scientists like me and those studying coronavirus.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Zanina and I am a master's student here at the University of Delaware in oceanography. My lab is called the Ocean Exploration, Remote Sensing and Biogeography Lab. And this computer right here is my most important tool. What I do is a lot of data analysis with a coding program called R, and you can see an example of that here. It might look a little bit confusing, but actually there's a lot of really cool information encoded in this data, such as maps like this. So this is an entire world map of sea surface temperature, and this is measured by satellites. Did you know that there are satellites orbiting the world right now that instead of looking up into space, they're actually looking down at the Earth, and we can get a lot of information about the oceans this way. So what my project involves is looking at the patterns of things like sea surface temperature and sunlight and seeing what they can tell us about the patterns of the animals that live in the ocean. And this whole concept is called biogeography.
Hi everyone, my name is Malik. I'm a graduate researcher at the University of Delaware and I'm a microbiologist.
Microbial ecology means that I study the microbes on our bodies, and overall in our environment to assess water quality in Delaware. I go out into the field to collect water samples and bring them back here, where I centrifuge them in this very fast spinning box, which separates the microbes from the rest of the material in the sample. Then I conduct the DNA extraction to get the DNA from these microbes so I can see what they are. You follow me this way. After I get the DNA from these microbes, I put them in here, our qPCR machine, which tells us how much of the microbe is in a sample at any given time point. Using this, I can see which microbes are affecting water quality the most in Delaware, which is a really important resource for the U.S.
Hey guys, my name is Maria. I am a master's student here at the University of Delaware, and I work at the Trophic and Spatial Ecology Research Lab. So what we do here is kind of look at the interactions that species of megafauna, such as the sharks that we keep here in captivity, have with their environment and other species around them. So basically what we do is kind of look to see how sharks can differ in different kinds of oxygen consumption, or how their learning capabilities can differ based on diet. And we do lots of things here to help keep our sharks safe and happy. We look at different parameters and indicators of harmful things that could affect the sharks and try to make sure they are in the correct range that we want them at. And we also make sure we feed them every single day. So here we have 4 sharks. On the left side, we have our shark who is about to go into training right now. Her name is Reba. She has the red tag. We have our only male shark. His name is Prince with the purple tag. Betty is white with the white tag. And then our biggest shark is Q. She has the green tag. And it's just about their feeding time, so I'm just going to drop some pieces of squid in. And we make sure we put in some vitamins in with the squid to make sure they are getting what they need like they would out in the wild. Yeah, that's our job.